History made, a new class and car for the Sports Car Club of America. This is the new Club Spec Mustang, and the first car ever built to the spec. 26 days ago, this car was a stock Mustang used by Goodyear to test tires in Texas. It's been transformed with the Club Spec suspension kit from Strano Sports and Eagle F1 Supercar 3 tires from Goodyear. 4 drivers of vastly varying abilities descended on the Goodyear Proving Grounds in Akron, Ohio. A track that's tested legendary cars with legendary drivers. The place to shake down the Club Spec Mustang. The drivers, Goodyear test driver and 2-time solo national champion Dave Ogburn, SCCA's marketing guru Dan Dennehy Rodriguez, Goodyear sports car sales guy Jay Chapman, and the anti-Stig, inside the SCCA host and fledgling driver, yours truly, Brian Belansky. The car, a 2005 Mustang, affectionately dubbed the Yellow Submarine.
I had a blast to go from never doing this before and always having kind of just heard about autocross to actually get to experience it at such a level of a properly prepared race car for what we were doing. It was a great experience. It's definitely one I want to try to do again.
I am so impressed with the car. So it's really fun to see because I think of everyone, I've been able to have the most interface with the car, having built it a couple of weeks ago. And as much fun as it was to build the car, which was a lot of fun, having it on track was way more fun. And to be honest, like, I'm not necessarily the most experienced of autocrossers, been doing it for a while. I was so impressed with the car because it drove really well just right out of the gate. I'm sure a better alignment and a couple other things would even make it better, but for a first run, it went perfect.
Yeah, a lot of fun. So I've driven this car quite a bit in stock trim as it was a test vehicle at our proving grounds in San Angelo, Texas, where I work. So it's nice to drive it much improved and on a higher grip tire, and yeah, overall, yeah, super fun day.
Dave was the only one to drive the car before the Club Spec kit was put on it, so it was interesting to hear his impressions about what he thought about the car with the kit.
Yeah, significantly improved. I would say it took it from something that maybe was a good learning tool for me, like training to be a test driver, but wasn't the most fun thing to drive, to something that legitimately I enjoyed. So you can play with the car a little bit more, dance it through a slalom. It has more grip, it responds well. It's not just so soft and understeering. It makes the chassis a little more lively. Overall, very, very stable. And our tire, it is a high grip tire, but it also is a really, really stable breakaway, so progressive breakaway. So I think it makes it intuitive and fairly easy to drive. Yeah, I have a lot of experience on that tire, so certainly that helps. But I think overall, a lot of feedback that we get about that tire from people out there, whether they're autocrossing, time trialing, whatever they're doing, is that it is easy to drive, and I agree. So I think it makes it a car that is certainly a good starter platform, or someone who's been doing it a long time will still enjoy.
Goodyear gets out of this a great partnership with SCCA. Goodyear gets out of this the ability to utilize some of its assets to grow a partnership with SCCA inside the SCCA podcast. Strano parts to be there, to interact with those that are running autocross, those that are running road racing, just to continue to build that partnership.
So I've autocrossed recently a Honda Fit. Low horsepower, front wheel drive, rear drum brakes. Getting into this car was just a total hoot. It was easy to handle. It was responsive. When I put the gas into it, I was able to get the car to break loose, but not lose control of it. the balance of the car was just spectacular. Obviously, the big, Mustang power versus a Honda Fit was something I'd have to get a lot of getting used to. But to be able to get a chance to get here to the Proving Grounds in Akron, drive on this track in this really, really cool Club Spec car, I can see this as being a fantastic car for someone like me with not a ton of experience in this type of car, or for anybody who might even have a ton of experience driving Mustangs. The suspension package was fantastic. It's certainly a great example of what this Club Spec program can be for people who are trying to get into this type of situation where they've got a car for multiple different racing disciplines that is attainable from a money standpoint. It's certainly not inexpensive in the grand scheme of racing money. It is fairly inexpensive to go racing with this type of platform, and you'll be racing against a bunch of other cars with the exact same stuff on it, so you shouldn't be having to worry about being outspent money-wise as far as speed goes. It'll be much more of a driver versus driver class, and that's really the whole goal from what I can tell and from what I can see from the Club Spec program. All right, I want to give a big shout out to a bunch of folks who made this whole thing possible. Jay Chapman from Goodyear, of course, for the amazing tires and inviting me to come and test drive the car. Sam Strano from Strano Parts, he's curated the entire kit. Big thank you to Alan Briere from Coney, who donated the Coney Yellows for this car. Mitchell Bloom from Hawk Performance, he donated the Hawk DTC 60 fronts and DTC 30 rear pads. Also, all of the .4 fluid in this car. Bill Snow from Atomic Autosport, he offered up the shop space to install all of this kit. They did it in one weekend. Matthew Harbert from Atomic Autosport, he gave his time to help build the car, along with Mr. Dennehy Rodriguez, DDR. George Katona, he did all the printing for the livery. He's from In Sign Out Printing. He designed the livery and sent it all over. Also, a big thanks to Ryan Kirkwood and Remy Womer from UMI Performance. They are all part of the parts kit for this Club Spec Mustang. And finally, Racekeeper, the official in-car video system of Inside the SCCA. So those are the folks that helped put this whole thing together. A big thank you to all of them. I had a blast. It's an amazing car. I hope to get to drive it again sometime. What a great day at the Goodyear Akron Proving Grounds driving this Club Spec Mustangs. So long, everybody. Have yourself a great day. And, of course, go play with cars.